Hey guys, today we are going to be looking at several replays of Offlane Dawnbreaker versus carry Lina. And the reason I wanted to do this, it was kind of for myself, my own knowledge, is I got crushed in this matchup, in this lane, and I have been doing very well with Dawnbreaker offlane recently. And so when I run into like a really difficult matchup where I was like, how did this guy crush me so hard? What do I need to do differently? I recommend going on Dota 2 Pro Tracker, checking out the different matchups. I'll show you how to do that at the very end. If you want to skip the end of the video, I show how to do that. But find replays of this matchup from super high MMR players and see what they do to not have such a terrible game like I did. So let's jump into these 4 Dawnbreaker replays. I'll start with my own, and then we'll cover 3 high MMR replays, starting with like, oh, this guy tried this and it didn't really work, ending with the replay where I'm like, okay, I really want to emulate how this guy played this matchup. So let's get into it. They had a Pugna position 5 with a Lina position 1, so a lot of far range right-click harass, and basically this lane does not go well. I'm going to quickly go over this game just to show you at 10 minutes. The Lina is like 2k net worth ahead of me. He just completely owns me. He plays it really well, I think. He's not like crazy high. He's not higher like rank than I am. He's ranked 2200. You know, I'm ranked 1600 right now. Like, but he plays it really well, and I just don't think I had a good understanding of what to do. So basically, what they're doing in this lane is constant right click harass, and I have a Willow who like cannot body for me, and they just completely harass me out of lane. So I do buy a lot of regen here because I think I don't think you can like overbuy regen right now. The only times it doesn't work are games like this, actually, where like I think you have to buy the regen anyways, but then like it's like not enough and your net worth like kind of sucks. So the idea of this lane is we kind of go on them, right? And like if we get on top of them, maybe we kill them, but they do a really good job of poking from really far away all the time. Like they're both on the same page. I try and use a lot of defensive creep aggro. This Lina is also this Lina also just last hits very well. Like gets a bunch of denies on me. Like this guy just completely owned me in the lane, and I'm not saying I played perfectly, but it was just impressive, honestly. Here, unfortunately, did not get the kill on the Pugna. My Q had been a slightly better angle. Maybe we get it. So you can see defensive aggro again. This guy gets like just this really good deny, and then he gets a good deny on the range creep. And so he's just constantly right-clicking me down. And does this guy have Blades of Attack? Where's that? So why can't I click on him? Oh no, he's got him coming out on the courier, but it looks like he started +6 all stats with the 3 branches plus magic wand and fluid tangos. But it's a pretty good build actually, because Dawn casts a lot of spells and so does Willow. So just to fast forward a little bit more and show you guys how basically my approach to playing the lane was defensive aggro a lot, buy a lot of regen, and I don't know, maybe I needed to just buy a couple salves and like constantly like go on the Lina instead of focusing on CS as much as I was. Maybe it was a mistake to be focusing on the CS. Usually in hard matchups, like I tell people like, oh, just focus on the CS. But here focusing on the CS just led me to having no HP all the time. And it could be one of those matchups where you just maybe need to be more aggressive and try and kill them, because if you can't kill them, then they're just going to completely out-harass you and out-CS you. Here I get wrapped on with a Pugna. Guy's playing very annoying. You see my CS is just garbage. And, you know, I've been defensive aggroing. I've been trying to be a little aggressive when I can on their on their heroes, but it's hard. And this Lina's done a great job of staying at like full HP. He's not putting himself in a range where we could possibly like kill him or go all in to kill him. You can see he's got more tangos, finished the Falcon Blade. So really just not a whole lot I can do here. Especially with this Pugna. I don't know. They played it very well. And this is what I mean. You know, I'm kind of doing my best and it's not working. So this is why we go on to watch the other replays. So here I leave my lane because it's not going well. So I'll look for opportunities to rotate when my lane's not going well. And, you know, leave your lane, go to a different lane, see if you can help out. And so that's the end of the lane in this game against the Lina for the most part, but I just got completely owned. Net worth, I showed you guys, this guy's up by 1,400 at 8 minutes, and I've left my lane, right? So when this happens, we look at other replays. So I found 3. All 3 were by higher MMR players than me. I'll show you in order of like, well, I watched it, and I was like, well, I don't think I want to do that. And we'll end with a replay that is, oh, like this is what I should do differently next time. And that doesn't mean I'll execute perfectly, but it will at least give me a strong idea for what to do. So this Dawnbreaker is rank 700-ish. I don't know what server this is. Maybe SEA? We got RNG. And he's against a rank 14 Lina. So this game I watched, I was like, this probably doesn't go well for this guy, and it does not. So we'll show you why though, and what another way that this does not go well. So he's got a Lion, he's against a Wisp. So they've got, again, 2 ranged right clickers who can do a lot of harass. And we even got First Blood here. I think this guy's like raging in his line or something for stealing First Blood. So not playing the lane, which is like not ideal. But this guy started 2 gauntlets, and he's rushing a Soul Ring. And this guy's camera movement is crazy. Rushing Soul Ring against a hard lane is one of the worst things you can do in Dota. And I used to make this mistake where I was like, oh, if I wanted a Soul Ring this game, I'm like, oh, well, I want a Soul Ring. The stats are good, right? So I'll just build the Soul Ring first. And if you're in a hard lane, it's such a bad idea. So you can see this guy already got harassed out. Oh, one of the things I wanted to mention, just specifically tactical-wise, like what is a specific thing you can do in these hard matchups to not get owned so hard? And it's to shove the first wave really fast. And sometimes these rune shenanigans make this harder to do. But like if this guy hadn't used his Celestial Hammer on the Isle there and it saved it for the wave, if you are against a high harass like range lane and you're a melee, if you can shove the lane into them, it reduces their ability to harass you. This concept I first learned back when OD and Razor were popular offlaners. And I think like BSJ made a video or something where it's basically like, if you just shove the lane into them, they can't harass you as well. So this is like, I think this is something you need to do against Lina. And this guy like, obviously completely doesn't do that because he's like AFK flaming or something. Or AFK for some other reason, I don't know. But he's like not even playing. But what happens here is that the lane goes under the tower and then it gets shoved into the Dawn. And I think this happened in my game too. And this gives the Lina and the IO ample opportunity to just click you down. Especially with this pull too. This pull did not help. And now there's like 5 creeps, right? 7 creeps for the Radiant, only 2 for the Dire, and this Lina and this IO, like, great, we can just click you as much as we want, right? And we'll turn around and get like the 1 CS, and then we'll stop. And it's just so easy for them to harass you when they double up the wave like this. And now he's harassing him under tower. And this is a really good Lina player, right? This Lina's like super high rank, and this is what good players will do. And he gets super early kill, and this is such a bad death for the Dawnbreaker. He's now losing these creeps under tower. So this lane is... So I watched this replay, and I was like, well, I know I don't want to do this. But I'll just show you guys just to demonstrate. So he does some defensive aggro, which is like good, right? He's going to get some CS. But he rushes and buys this Soul Ring, and then we'll just show you what that looks like. So he bought the Soul Ring recipe. Very expensive first item Soul Ring. He does buy some more Tangos to his credit. Some aggression on the IO. It's good. It's good. Missed some creeps under his tower. Unfortunate. But otherwise, you know, trying to focus on CS. Also not having a great time CSing like me. And where's this courier? Alright, we've got our Soul Ring. We have our Soul Ring. So Soul Ring, if you might imagine, is not good if you're having HP problems. It's good if you're having mana problems and are not having HP problems. He uses Soul Ring there to cast his W, and now he's sitting at 200 HP against his Lina that just wants to right-click harass him constantly. And I've done this. I've been here, and I'm like, wow, this. And it took me a while to realize that, like, oh, rushing Soul Ring is actually griefing yourself super hard. So now he can't approach the wave at all because he's got no HP. This Soul Ring is contributing to him having no HP. Just getting harassed on lane. He's basically not laning, right? He's completely not laning at level 4. And this Lina is really good and has the lane static outside of his tower. The Dawn's using some spells, but then the Lina just comes over and helps. And, like, he can't do anything. He literally can't lane because of this Soul Ring. And the line left to go do something else. So I saw this replay, and I was like, okay, well, I definitely would never rush a Soul Ring. I kind of already know this, but I just wanted to show it to you guys. This is a higher rank player than I am, and he rushes a Soul Ring, and that is not what you should do. So let's look at something that another player does. We'll look at this game. It's kind of weird. The Blade Mail, like, this guy goes first out on Blade Mail, which I found interesting. We'll just look at how he, like, lanes, and if he does anything differently. And this Dawnbreaker is rank 100, I think. This is a high MMR spread game, but let's see if I can pull this up. The Lina is really high rank, which is kind of what I was saying, and the this is actually Skeeter on Ursa. And then this Dawnbreaker is rank 100 EU, so he is a very good player. I don't know who it is, but the Dawnbreaker is very good. The Lina, I don't know who the Lina is, I don't remember, but the Lina is really good. The Dawnbreaker is pretty good. So we'll see how this guy deals with it. So he starts, he's got a CM, and he's against, it's an Undying Lina, which is like, that's a hard lane, right? And so he got Magic Stick, Tangos, a lot of stats, skipped the Quelling in favor of more stats, which I think makes sense because Dawnbreaker's got pretty high base damage. Lina's base damage is not the highest, although this guy did go the max damage you can get, so he does have a lot of damage, but like, so this guy went more damage, but also more stats, probably anticipating taking more damage, maybe wanting to do more trades. So nothing happens to the rune. We'll see if this guy shoves the wave in right away. I feel like I don't remember him doing that, but maybe he does. So he defensive aggro's. Goes for the deny. CM secures the range creep. So he's aggroing backwards to try and static the lane outside of his own tower. And this is like very competent, disciplined, advanced creep aggro, where he staticked it further than right outside of his tower. And then the creeps met the melees, and then he had room to aggro the melees back into the range creep to deny the range creep. So there's very advanced creep aggro that you should do, and if you know to do it and you just don't, it's just because you're lazy. And so this guy's just playing away from the Lina. He knows the lane's shoving in. He's not worried. He's not focused on standing up in front of the Lina and like putting himself in harass range of the Lina, basically. Like, the Undying is going to run him and decay him, so be it. And for the most part, until now, he has stayed away from the Lina, and that's kind of seems like what his strategy is. So that makes sense to me. Like, I might try staying away from the Lina more often, really just pulling the creeps back and just not putting yourself, you know, his attack range is really far, but if you're like, you know, if you're halfway up the lane away from him, then that's okay. So he used some mana to cure CS, which makes sense. He's not using his mana for anything else. Really just chilling. So this is what it looks like when you understand that your matchup's bad, is you kind of just stay away from them and you don't get a ton out of the lane, but ideally you take a little bit less harass. You know, this Lina's kind of playing it perfectly, like just clipping him at the very edges of stuns. Like anytime he does walk up at all, he's getting punished for it. So he buys a salve. He finishes Bracer for the health regen, it looks like. Buys a salve and more tangos. Again, kind of playing with the creep aggro to try and get these, keep the lane in front of his tower and get as many denies as possible. So really nice creep aggro techniques from this guy to, you know, stay away from the Lina as much as possible. And then anytime the Lina is near him, you know, it does not go well. So it looks like there's nothing he can really do if the Lina's near him and the creeps are all together that can stop the Lina from harassing him. Use another W to try and secure some creeps. Got 10 stick charges, so I like this stick. This is going to come in handy, this stick. Starting, because this Lina does spam spells. Obviously Undying does too. Buying another salve. And really just staying away from the Lina. He's not trying to overforce this lane. He's creep aggroing when he can, but otherwise just really staying away from the Lina as much as possible. He picked up a raindrop, an upgraded wand. So those were his next items while flying another salve to stay at high HP. Notice he did not run over here to try and like contest these creeps, right? He's happy staying right here, you know, away from the Lina. There wasn't anything specific he could have done over by those creeps, but like it's important to not just like put yourself. It's important to not put yourself near the enemies for no reason, because they'll just harass you down, and then you'll lose a bunch of HP for no reason. So here they use this opportunity to like kind of go on the Lina, which sort of, it did a lot of damage, which is good. But not only does the CM die, this guy misses a bunch of CS under tower. So if they had killed the Lina, maybe worth. But they didn't kill the Lina, so definitely not worth it. I don't know if they thought they would kill the Lina and it like just didn't go well. Really nice stun from the Lina. If he didn't get that stun off, this Q probably, he might have been able to chase him down. Maybe not. But now you can see he's like more willing to do damage to the Lina and trade a little bit. It's still not quite working, but he's playing around the edges of this like max wand, infused raindrops, trying to trade with the Lina a little more. And then here's this kind of like advanced, like both heroes know that the other one can kill them. And the Lina ends up running away. He's playing pretty safe, dodges the Lina out a little bit, buys another salve. So I just want you to see how much regen this guy's buying. I bought a lot of regen too, but I just was playing too close to the Lina all the time. And just taking a ton of damage. Almost looks to dive. He's got his boots now. So he went bracer, stick, bracer, then upgrade wand raindrop, now into boots. Good to chase down the Lina if he's out of position and to run away from the Lina. He's got his levels, so now maybe he can like go all in and kill the Lina. Because you can get on the top of the Lina easier when you have like this high level Celestial Hammer. So this Lina has to be a little afraid, especially with the CM, if the CM's nearby. Oh, we lost our sound, unfortunately. This happens in replay sometimes. And at this point, I think the Lina just bounced. Oh, the Lina is still here. The Lina very soon, like, leaves. You can see the Dawn's kind of going on him. They turn it around on the CM. The Lina's really low. And this guy buys a broadsword next. When I first watched this replay, I was a little confused by this. But basically, the Lina leaves now and does not come back. And so that's the end of the lane. And so you can see he didn't, like, get the better of the Lina in the lane. But he did get what CS he could. His net worth is hurting a bit because he had to buy regen. Even though... Actually, let's just back up. Because he did just get this creep wave that he didn't have before. Because he's only down 9 CS. That's pretty impressive. The Lina does have 11 denies. But you can see in the net worth he is hurting by 1,100 gold because of all this extra regen he's had to buy. But he's having a game, right? He's having a game. He didn't get, like, crushed. And he's going to have impact later. So this strategy of playing away from the Lina, buying regen when you need it. I like starting with the stick. I like the bracer makes sense to me. And then mostly just playing for creeps away from the Lina and not overpressing your limits seemed to work pretty well for this guy. Then he proceeds to go Blade Mail. I don't really know why. So we can man up on the Lina and the Lina can't fight back. And also it's good against Bat Rider. Very interesting. He goes I'll just show you because I thought this was interesting. He goes Blade Mail, Brown Boots, doesn't upgrade his boots, into Basher, into BKB. Very interesting game. Or like skill build. I don't know. I would never do this, but this guy's like rank 100 EU, so he's like 9k MMR or something, and this is the item build he's going. Very interesting. Okay, so let's show the last game by the highest MMR Dawnbreaker so far. So this is going to be... I don't remember who this is again, but this Dawnbreaker is rank 14. I don't know what server this is either. I think this is a really high MMR game, though. You can see like a ton of top 100s, a couple top 10s. So this was the one where I was like, oh, I should do what this guy's doing. Like, this is clearly like... It just when you watch really high MMR players play a lane, a lot of times it just makes sense. You're just like, oh, like, I get, like, and things just go well, and you're just like, oh, I guess, like, that's the way you should do it. And, you know, copying it exactly is not as easy as it looks. But we will learn. So this guy starts out with a Wraith Band starting item. So he's going to go for the Wraith Band. This is very common in high MMR games where they're playing strength offlaners and they expect to get clicked a lot. This is like the meta, and I don't do this enough, I think. But you literally just buy the Wraith Band, and it's because it gives you the extra armor. The extra 2 armor, and it gives you 2 strength instead of 5. So you get 2 damage instead of 3, a little bit less HP. But, you know, the attack speed may be still nice for trading. And it's just the armor, right? The Bracer gives no armor. And Dawn's only a 4 armor hero. Not terrible, but not great. And yeah, the health regen from Bracer is not that high. 0.75. What's a Mango? A Mango's 0.6. So a Bracer is like basically the same as holding a Mango. Almost the exact same as just holding 1 Mango. So I like the Wraith Band. I do. I really like it. And what does he do? Shoves the lane in. And he's got a snap, which I think in terms of lane-wise against a Lina, this is probably like the best lane combination we've seen so far. Like me with the Willow was not that great. That other guy with the Lion, okay. I think Lion's okay. That last game, he had a CM, which was pretty good. I think Snap's great. Just offers a ton of damage and the cookie to help close the gap even more. So this is like, this threatens the Lina. Whereas like me with my Willow against the Pugna Lina, I don't know, it just didn't feel like we had a lot of threat there. So they secure the range and they shove it out pretty hard. This lane got shoved, right? Or at least it didn't get shoved at him. It did not get shoved at him. So this Lina will not be free to just constantly right-click him down. So he's staying away from the Lina a little bit. Kind of has the lane separated. And then he actually gets first blood here, which, you know, if you're ever in a hard matchup, this makes a huge difference. And this is just, right, this is just Snap being high damage, Dawn being pretty high damage. They started the lane off by going on the Lina when he was just a little bit out of position. They both used their spells on him. And they kept the lane shoved in a little bit. So now he's focusing on CS. Notice he bought a Salve. His first item that he flew out was a Salve. So he knew he was going to be trading a lot. And he queued up with the first blood. Obviously, you're not always going to get this. But he queued up the full wand, the Bracer recipe, and I think some more tangos. So now you can see he just walked back, 2 salve up, and he even blocked the creeps a little bit. And this was under the tower, so he knew he was going to push into him. So really advanced, like, efficient movement, not like wasting time near the Lina, taking more harass, making sure he gets his salve done. Focusing on CS here. Surprise. Okay, there he goes, using defensive aggro. Not being afraid to go on the Lina if he walks up. Especially while you're not super low yet. Right? You don't want to wait for this Lina to harass you down. You just want to go on him. So here he flew out a Mango as well. So he didn't fly out more tangos. He flew out wand, full wand, the Wraith Band recipe, and got a Mango. And then he just goes on the Lina. The Lina's forced to stun. I don't know if force is the right word. That's kind of how the Lina wants to use her stun, is like on you and then click you 3 times. Plays for the CS. Does not get it. And walks all the way back to base. And this is something that I think that even people at my level don't do quite enough. It's something that I've tried to do more. I think I'm getting better at it, but he just walks all the way back to base. And you need to be okay with doing this sometimes. Even without boots, he just walks all the way back to base. And he actually did not miss like a ton of CS. Like his camera movement's like all over the map. Oh no, he did. While this is happening, he's missing a whole wave under tower. But Snap's getting it, so it's not the end of the world. So he walks all the way back to base. Has 300 gold. Buys 1 more set of tangos. So it's going to take some damage. Tries to do some damage to the Lina. They get their full combo off. He does take a bunch of damage, though. So does the Lina, though. So this puts the Lina in, like, kill range, right? So the Lina cannot be super comfortable coming to attack him, necessarily, because they close the gap 1 more time with another set of spells, and the Lina could die herself. So keeping the Lina a little bit low is helpful. Using some defensive aggro here. doing some more just casual hammer harass, basically. So it looks like he's willing to do that. Flew out another salve. Didn't fly out any mangoes. So I'm wondering if he maybe will have mana problems, but maybe just doesn't want to spend too much gold on the mana regen here. He just needs enough to, like, throw hammer at Lina, basically. Does have a big stick here. Kites out. Tries to salve. So the Lina does go down, but he dies first. Maybe a good trade, though, considering it's not a good matchup. Like, if you can just kill him, even if you die, like, right? Normally, you wouldn't expect to be killing him because it's a bad matchup. Unfortunately, he's paying attention to mid and, like, takes a bunch of free health and damage. Like, he definitely doesn't... Like, the Lina just came back, and he just came back, and then he just lost half his HP for kind of no reason there. Just because he's paying attention to the other part of the map. So now you can see the Lina's kind of completely harassing him out. But the Primal does a good rotation, and he lives. So this is just really high MMR Dota, right? There's a super high, like 10k MMR game or something, or 11k, I don't know. He's kind of cracked, but right, I think it's a U. And so now at this point, I believe maybe it's this game where the Lina leaves early. No, the Lina came back. It's only level 4. It's only 6 minutes, and he walks all the way back to base again. So this is twice that he's just walked all the way back to base. So don't be afraid to do this in your games when you're in a really hard lane and you don't have the resources, right? Did he want to walk up and contest this lane with a full HP mana Lina that just came back right outside the Lina's tower? No. Like, especially in a high MMR game like this, like, he 100% would have, like, somebody would have TP'd in, because he was really low, right? Somebody would have TP'd in, and if not died, he would have been completely zoned off. So he just goes and gets full HP mana, tries to help his ally when he comes back. And, okay, so the Bat was in the area, the Lina's in the lane, he doesn't want to fight the Lina, so he just goes and farms. He does not want solo to contest this Lina up towards his tower. So he's just completely dodging the Lina when the lane is not in a reasonable spot for him. Very interesting. Very good, I think. I think you should do this. And now the lane has been shoved under his tower, and he's happy to see us. And you can see he went back for the boots and then chainmail. Chainmail makes a lot of sense, right? This Lina's constantly right-clicking you, harassing you. He's very attuned to what is happening on the map. And he actually ults to get away from the Lina Ogre after the Ogre stun. That was pretty sick. And participates in a kill. So very high awareness of what's going on. And awareness of when he can stun and when he cannot. And then he just uses the mana he has left to farm. And then goes back to base again. So this guy has literally walked base 3 times in 9 minutes. I want you guys to think about the last time you walked base 3 times or even twice in 9 minutes. And this guy did it 3 times. And he's rank 14 on some server. I don't know. He's ranked fucking 14. He's really, really good. I think Sacred like plays for a pro team, right? I don't know. I don't know the pro teams that much. And now the Lina has left, right? The Lina was... Oh, the Lina's in the jungle, but low HP. So he comes back to his lane. He knows the Lina's not going to be here. Shoves it in super fast. At this point, I kind of would expect to see him play for his own game. And that's what he does. He shoves in the lane. Okay, now he comes and shoves it in again. Focusing on the CS, shoving it in. Lina's not here. He's not going to get that farm. And then he's just amping his own farm now. So this was really well played. He did get the first blood, which you're not always going to get. But even without the first blood, play away from the Lina. Throw out Celestial Hammers constantly, even to just harass. Try and shove that first lane in. That ended up being partially what helped them get the kill. But like, do some damage and shove the lane in so they can't shove it in at you. Notice he did not rush a Soul Ring. So I feel like if I have to play this Dawnbreaker Lina matchup again, I will have a much better idea of what to do. Even if my support isn't as aggressive, I can still go for similar items, play away from the Lina, and, you know, if we do find opportunities, like just throw casual hammers at her, try and keep her HP not super high so that she can't always harass you down. Don't be afraid to walk back to base. This guy flew out multiple sets of regen, and he walked back to base multiple times. So hopefully you guys learned a lot from this. I think I did as part of this process, and this is what you should do when you get crushed in a matchup and you're like, wow, what do I need to do differently here? Go to Dota 2 Pro Tracker. A little bonus, I guess. I'll just show this real quick. So Dota2ProTracker.com. You can start by, you type in from both matchups. So look up the hero you want. So I look up Dawnbreaker, right? And then down here, I type verse Lina. Verse Lina. And this is a little tough because it's not showing what position. But the other way to do it is just look at it from both sides. So if you go to Lina, because of I don't know, the way this filter thing works is a little wonky. Verse Dawn, right? And that's how I found these games. I just clicked open some of these and checked for games where the Dawnbreaker was the offlane hero, basically, because these are all like Lina carry games. So I just checked for games where Dawn was the offlane hero, and that's how I found these games to look at. So do this when you run into a matchup where you don't know what to do and you want to figure out how to play that matchup. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Otherwise, catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, sub to the channel. And if you want to be coached by me, check the link in the video description. You can join my Discord there, and there's all the information there on how to sign up.